Thanks to the economic plan we put through in Congress earlier this year and a successful vaccine deployment, America continues to add jobs at a record pace.
In need of a win, President Joe Biden celebrated the strong October jobs report on Friday after a disappointing loss for Democrats this week in Virginia, where voters chose a Republican for governor in a state Biden won handily in 2020. Biden said the boost in U.S. employment showed significant progress in the country's economic recovery under Democratic leadership.
Over 5.5 million jobs. Unemployment down a record pace to 4.6%. And before we passed the rescue plan, forecasters said it would take until the end of 2023, to get to 4.6 unemployment rate. Today, we've reached that rate 2 years before forecasters thought it was possible. I would humbly suggest this is a significant improvement from when I took office.
Biden, whose approval ratings last week were at the lowest level of his presidency, touted his COVID-19 policies as reasons for the economy's improvement. He was also eager to show that his party can move forward on his agenda, urging lawmakers to pass his infrastructure and social spending bills to build on the economic momentum.
I want to say very clearly, if your number one issue is the cost of living, the number one priority should be seeing Congress pass these bills.
Democrats intend to pass Biden's domestic spending plans through the narrowly divided House and Senate despite vehement opposition from Republicans, who are citing the Virginia win and a close governor's race in New Jersey as signs they will take back control of Congress in the 2022 elections.
My sisters and I were raised under the stars of the storied general we eulogize today. Dad was famous for his 13 rules, but our family life was unregimented. No morning reveille or marching drills. It was a warm and joyous and loving home, anchored by our strong and graceful mother, Alma. Our parents taught us right. They taught us wrong. And they taught us to take responsibility for our actions and never to blame others. Disappointing them was the worst punishment you could imagine. Colin Powell was a great leader because he was a great follower. He knew you could not ask your troops to do anything you were unwilling to do yourself. He loved the troops with all his heart. The morning I was flying to Germany for my first assignment as a new Army officer, he came into my room to say goodbye. He leaned over and kissed me on the cheek and whispered gently, "Take care of our soldiers." The last night of his life, I walked in to see him. He could not see or speak to me, so I took his hand, just as he had taken mine decades before. I knew everything was not going to be okay. I wanted him to be at peace. But again, I felt my father's love in that hand. That hand that took my mother's hand in matrimony. That hand that held me as a baby. That hand that signed report cards, tossed baseballs, and fixed old cars. That hand that signed treaties and war orders, saluted service members, and gestured joyfully while telling a story. That hand is still now. But it left a deep imprint on the lives of family and dear friends, soldiers and sailors, presidents and prime ministers, and a generation of aspiring young people. My father made a monumental difference. He lived. He lived well. I've heard it asked, are we still making his kind? I believe the answer to that question is up to us. To honor his legacy, I hope we do more than consign him to the history books. I hope we recommit ourselves to being a nation where we are still making his kind.
And Colin would always end that comment by saying, we all need to treat everyone with a little bit more kindness than we think they deserve, because we don't know what's going on in their lives. Visiting foreign minister from Sweden, Anna Lindh, was in. So she came in with her entourage to the secretary's very well-appointed office, and she knew of Secretary Powell's affection for ABBA, and she knew of Secretary Powell's affection for Volvos. So she opened up a full CD set of ABBA and presented it to him. Colin immediately went down on one knee and sang the entire Mamma Mia to a very amused foreign minister from Sweden and to a gobsmacked U.S. delegation who had never seen anything like it.
Beneath that glossy exterior of warrior statesman was one of the gentlest and most decent people any of us will ever meet. As I grew to know him, I came to view Colin Powell as a figure who almost transcended time, for his virtues were Homeric: honesty, dignity, loyalty, and an unshakable commitment to his calling and word.
The example of Colin Powell does not call on us to emulate his resume, which is too formidable for mere mortals. It is to emulate his character and his example as a human being. We can strive to do that. We can choose to be good.
Mr. Arbery is under attack by all three of these men. He's under attack.
A Georgia prosecutor told a jury on Friday that the three white men on trial for the killing of Ahmaud Arbery assumed the worst about the unarmed African-American when they chased him down and shot him dead in February 2020.
And then they killed him.
Cobb County Senior Assistant District Attorney Linda Donikoski accused Gregory McMichael, his son Travis McMichael, and their neighbor William Roddy Bryan with murder, aggravated assault, and false imprisonment. All three men pleaded not guilty. Arbery's killing has sparked protests and enraged activists furious about the killings of unarmed African Americans in the United States.
Travis McMichael has probable cause, based on his training of what probable cause is, to believe Ahmaud Arbery is a burglar.
In opening statements on Friday, the defense attorney said his clients suspected the 25-year-old Arbery, who was out for a Sunday jog, was a burglar, and later told police they were trying to make a citizen's arrest. Seeing Arbery jog past, the older McMichael ran inside his house to get his pistol and alerted his son, who grabbed his 12-gauge shotgun. The two got in a pickup truck and began chasing Arbery, trying to ask him what he was running from.
5 minutes later, Ahmaud Arbery's dead.
The prosecutor said neighbor William Roddy Bryan also gave chase and tried to hit Arbery repeatedly with his pickup truck.
How do you know this was an attack on Mr. Arbery? Because Greg McMichael said it perfectly. Mr. Arbery was trapped like a rat. That's what he told the police.
She played cell phone video showing Travis McMichael firing the fatal shotgun blast that killed Arbery. The victim's mother sobbed in the courtroom before regaining her composure. The defense pointed to the fact that Arbery had been seen repeatedly in the neighborhood, sometimes at night, and sometimes even entering a vacant property under construction. Travis McMichael had previously called 911 after encountering Arbery. The defendant's lawyers say the younger McMichael opened fire in self-defense.